Morning, and welcome to Twilio's 2025 Annual Meeting of Stockholders. My name is Brian Bannerman, SVP, Corporate Development and Investor Relations. We are conducting our annual meeting virtually to provide a consistent experience to all stockholders, regardless of location. If you encounter any technical issues, please contact technical support. The phone numbers are posted on the registration page. There will be a replay of this meeting available on our web portal and our IR website after we conclude. And with that, I will now hand the meeting over to our CEO, Khozema Shipchandler.
Thanks, Brian, and good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to welcome you to our 2025 Annual Meeting of Stockholders. I'll act as chair of this meeting. Christy Lake, our Chief Administrative Officer, will conduct the formal part of the meeting, and Juliana Chen, our Vice President, Corporate Legal, will act as secretary and record the minutes. In addition to myself, we have with us Aidan Viggiano, our Chief Financial Officer, and representatives from KPMG LLP, our independent registered public accounting firm. I also want to welcome the members of our board of directors in attendance. With that, the meeting is now called to order. I will now turn the meeting over to Christy Lake, who will conduct the formal part of the meeting.
Thank you, Khozema. Before we get started, I'm going to cover a few administrative matters. As an overview of today's meeting, we'll address the matters described in our 2025 proxy statement and questions relevant to such matters. We will then announce preliminary voting results and adjourn the meeting. As a reminder, we've adopted rules of conduct for this meeting, a copy of which are linked on our virtual meeting website, and we ask that everyone read and follow them. As noted in the rules of conduct, you'll be able to submit questions that are relevant to an agenda item to be voted on by stockholders until we begin the Q&A session. Questions can be asked by typing in the box provided on today's virtual meeting platform. Broadridge Financial Solutions, our proxy distribution firm, has provided an affidavit confirming that notice of this meeting has been duly given and that the proxy materials were mailed on or about April 25th, 2025, to all stockholders of record at the close of business on April 15th, 2025, the record date for this meeting. The affidavit will be filed with the minutes of the meeting. Kathy Whedon, a representative of Broadridge Financial Solutions, has been appointed as Inspector of Election for this meeting. She has signed an oath of office and will tabulate the votes and determine the results of the voting. Her oath will be filed with the minutes of the meeting. We have present virtually or by proxy the holders of a majority of the voting power of all issued and outstanding shares of our common stock entitled to vote at this meeting. As we have a sufficient number of shares to constitute a quorum, the meeting is duly constituted. The polls have been open for voting since the beginning of this meeting. The polls will remain open until I announce their closure later in the meeting. If you did not submit a proxy, or if you previously submitted a proxy and wish to change your vote, you may vote now by clicking the Vote Here button on your screen. If you have already submitted a proxy, then you do not need to vote again unless you would like to change your vote. The vote indicated on your proxy will be counted. We have 6 matters to be voted on during today's meeting. Detailed information concerning each of these proposals is contained in the proxy statement made available to our stockholders. The first matter to be voted on is the proposal to elect 3 directors to serve until the 2028 Annual Meeting of Stockholders and until their successors have been duly elected and qualified. The nominees are Donna Dubinsky, Deval Patrick, and Miyuki Suzuki. Our board of directors recommends a vote for each of these nominees. The second matter to be voted on is the proposal to ratify the appointment of KPMG LLP as our independent registered public accounting firm for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. Our board of directors recommends a vote for this matter. The third matter to be voted on is a proposal to approve on a non-binding advisory basis the compensation of our named executive officers. Our board of directors recommends a vote for this matter. The fourth matter to be voted on is a management proposal to amend our certificate of incorporation to declassify our board of directors. Our board of directors recommends a vote for this matter. The fifth matter to be voted on is a management proposal to amend our certificate of incorporation to eliminate supermajority voting provisions. Our board of directors recommends a vote for this matter. The sixth matter to be voted on is a management proposal to amend our certificate of incorporation to remove inoperative provisions, including references to Class B common stock, and update certain other miscellaneous provisions. Our board of directors recommends a vote for this matter. If you have not yet done so, please vote your shares using the web portal and by clicking the Vote Here button on your screen. We will now answer any questions that have been submitted that are relevant to an agenda item being voted on and that otherwise comply with the rules of conduct. At this point, questions are no longer allowed to be submitted. Any relevant questions not answered during this time can be addressed by our investor relations team, which can be reached at ir@twilio.com. We show no relevant questions have been submitted. I will pause to ensure adequate time for voting if needed. The polls are now closed. No additional ballots, proxies, or votes, and no further changes or revocations will be accepted. I have the preliminary results of the voting and will report them now. Based on the preliminary voting results, our stockholders have elected Donna Dubinsky, Deval Patrick, and Miyuki Suzuki to serve as directors until our 2028 annual meeting of stockholders and until their respective successors have been duly elected and qualified. Ratified the appointment of KPMG LLP as our independent registered public accounting firm for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. Approved on a non-binding advisory basis the compensation of our named executive officers. Approved a management proposal to amend our certificate of incorporation to declassify our board of directors. Approved a management proposal to amend our certificate of incorporation to eliminate supermajority voting provisions, and approved a management proposal to amend our certificate of incorporation to remove inoperative provisions, including references to Class B common stock, and update certain other miscellaneous provisions. This concludes the report of preliminary voting results. The Inspector of Election will conduct a final count of all votes on these matters, and the final results will be included in the minutes of this meeting and will be available for all stockholders on a Form 8-K to be filed with the SEC within 4 business days of today's date. This concludes the formal business of the meeting, and I will turn it back over to Khozema Shipchandler to close out the meeting.
Thank you, Christy. The meeting is adjourned. We will now end the meeting and close this line. Thank you for attending. We appreciate your continued support of Twilio.
Thank you for attending today's call. Now disconnect. Goodbye.